When we start fractions, the first thing we really want you all to think about is a fraction is part of a whole, okay? So when you take one whole thing, whether it's a shape, whether it's like food that you're going to be talking about with word problems, or just parts of a group of something, um, a fraction is just a part of that whole. Okay, so the first thing we want to talk about with fractional parts are just looking at one whole shape like we've got right here. And I just want you to understand some of the terms with fractions. So if we take one whole right here and we split it into two parts, those are called halves. Okay. And if we take that same whole and split it into three parts, we've got thirds. So these are terms that we want you to be kind of familiar with. Now, another thing I want you to be familiar with is that when you are dealing with fractions, you're going to be dealing with pieces that are equal. Okay, see how these halves are equal in shape and size? We call that congruent. They're perfectly congruent to each other. Okay, so are these thirds? They're the same size. Okay, that means equally partitioning them. So then I've taken this whole and split it into fourths. And something I want you to notice is fourths is four equal parts. 4 like 2 is an even number. So anytime I'm partitioning a piece into an even number of parts, I always start with that middle line and then I kind of break each side up from there. And that way I kind of visually um, can do it just to get it the best that I can. Okay, now we're going to look at fifths. Now, 5 is an odd number. So when I'm trying to partition something into fifths, a rectangle or a bar like this into fifths, I kind of take my eye to the very middle right here, but that's not where that first line is going to go. It's going to kind of offset a little bit to the left or the right. And I know that 5 is made up of two and 3, so I'm going to put another line over here. That makes my 2, and then 2 other lines over there. And that makes for 3 over here. Okay, and this is fifths. And now we're going to look at sixths. 6 is an even number, so I start my partitioning in the middle. 3 on one side, 3 on the other. And I tried to do a video of me drawing these out, and I couldn't get it uploaded like I wanted to, so that's kind of why I ended up doing it digitally. I'm going to skip sevenths and we're going to do eighths. Okay, now this little line right here didn't load right, but because eight is an even number, sorry, I'm going to start in the middle, and then I'll kind of split these parts in half as well, and then I'll go over here and I end up with eighths. Okay, I'm not sure what happened with that little line. It messed up there. Okay, ninths, I just kind of went ahead and put all the lines in there, and then tenths. Now, the thing I want you to see when we're dealing with fractional parts is we started out with halves, okay, 2 parts. See how big each part is compared to the tenths, okay? So the higher that you go into the pieces that you're splitting into, the smaller that your pieces are going to be. Okay. One word that I kind of wanted you to be familiar with, and I'm just going to type it right here is partition. Okay. That is, that's just splitting those pieces up equally. Okay. Let me make that bigger where you can see it. Partition. And that's what we did here. Okay.